Now I got pound gap issues. Now, because I know a lot of people are thinking about getting Tesla insurance and wondering if it's worth it or not. So remember when I said that I know Tesla has a high safety rating, but I don't know how safe I feel in this little vehicle? You can tell me everything you want to tell me about how safe Teslas are, but just being in a small vehicle, that brings it down for me. So I would say if I talked about safety, as far as like impact protection, I would say like a 6, but that's not. I guess that was my way of talking to the universe and the universe saying, okay, we're gonna show you how safe this vehicle is. All right, so it's a sad, sad day. I'm here with my Tesla Model 3 and yeah, got into an accident. All right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about what it's like having Tesla insurance, having a lease, getting into an accident, and what happens next, right? So yes, it is horrible, right? No airbags deployed or anything like that, but man, that's ugly. It's pretty jacked up. So just to give you an idea of what happened in the accident, it's funny because we watched Wham Bam, and you can see the glasses broken right down. I don't know if you can see that. So this whole windshield has to be replaced. So we watched Wham Bam, and one of the most common accidents we see on there is when there's a gap left in the road for, cars leave a gap for you to go ahead and cross, and you're crossing, and then that last lane of cars flying by like, wow, wow, right? And we always talk about that, my wife and I. So guess what happens? I'm in that same situation. So I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna show you footage. First of all, I was turning left. It was a keep clear sign on the ground, and they waited for me. 2 cars. The cars all stopped and let me through. So I'm creeping forward. I'm looking. I look left. I look right. Clear. I proceed. Wow! Here comes the car from the left. BMW flying in, and I didn't see them. But the center lane, that's the turning lane, left turning lane, and the law is they have to be able to turn within 200 feet. And there's nowhere for them to turn, right? So what they did was they skipped the line. They didn't want to wait behind all those cars, and they hopped in that turning lane. And I guess they were going fast. And I think they're going fast because I didn't see them. But the driver of the truck that let me through, he like stopped and said, hey, I saw it all, right? It was clear, and they came out of nowhere. They were flying. And I said, okay, well, thank you. I got his info, and I gave it to the police or whatever. But regardless of whose fault it is, right? That's why we pay for insurance. Because, times like this, whatever happens, happens. It's pretty much out of my control. I have the footage, and I wanted to show it to the police. Oh, all right, so let me break that down. So let me talk about the safety. First of all, that car hit me hard. And the only reason I know that is because of the damage left by their car and the damage we left on their car. So their whole bumper came off. And when I got hit by that car, I didn't feel hardly anything, right? The car was solid. The tiny Model 3 was solid. It was like a rock. I did feel safe. I was like, whoa, did we wreck? Did we hit the car? So it did go beep, beep, beep at the last second. And then I stopped, and then I looked down at my phone, and my phone was automatically calling 911. Automatically. So Tesla automatically called emergency services for me. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Wait a minute, I didn't call 911 because, I'm a little rattled because of what happened. I've been into an accident so long. So I'm a little rattled. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? So they were like 911. I said, oh, I was in an accident. And then I looked up, and the police were already on scene. I said, they're here already. And maybe they were passing by. I don't really know the situation, but they got there instantly. So I'm shaking. I get out the car and I'm explaining what happened. And she's checking on me, making sure I have insurance, making sure she had insurance. The other lady did not have insurance, even though it's the law here in California. Right. Good thing with my Tesla insurance covers uninsured motorists. So feel a little safer there. The lady did have a little bump on her head and she was bleeding a little bit. So they called 911, they called for EMS, and they came and, checked her out and actually ended up taking her in. But anyway, I was sitting there thinking like, man, that was pretty crazy. Not only that, moments after the police arrived, my wife called me. My wife was like, what happened? Are you okay? I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, I was in an accident. How do you know? Well, the other thing that happened, not only did they call 911, they alerted my wife, which has a Tesla app, which have the vehicles in her app. It said the Model 3 was in an accident. So she was notified, which is great, because what if I was unresponsive, right? What if I was stuck in there and I was hurt? And she would know right away. So that's those things like that, amazing to have, right? And of course, now I'm thinking, oh, let me save this footage. So I went to go save it, and I couldn't really save it because with that hard of an impact, Tesla already saved the footage for me. So here's what happened. Now I'm thinking, back when, my first Cybertruck, was bought back, I was looking at other vehicles. I did look at a lot of vehicles. And one of the reasons I came back to Tesla was because of Sentry footage, because of Dashcam. I know that you can buy a aftermarket Dashcam for other cars, but the way it's integrated in Teslas, that levels up the safety factor so much because I don't have to worry about it. It's seamless. It recorded for me, right? And it's already integrated. And I did offer to show the footage to the police officer on the scene, and he was like, "Nah, I don't need to see it." I'm like, "All right," because I always see on Wham Bam, they're like, "The officer saw it," and they're like, "Thank you, that's amazing, you had that footage," but they, he didn't want to see it. So anyway, he took the report. He gave her a ticket for not having insurance, and that was pretty much it. I was just like, all right, everything is smooth, right? And now the next part, I have Tesla insurance. Ooh, okay. So let me rewind a little bit. I know this is a long story, but I'm giving you guys a full picture. Let me rewind a little bit. I had let's just call it a cheap insurance back in the day, a long time ago. And I was hit from behind. I was rear-ended. And funny enough, the person that hit me had the exact same cheap insurance. They had the same one. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be easy then. All right, they're gonna take care of this. And it's obvious I was hit from behind, no big deal. I went into debt because of that. Because they said they're gonna reimburse me for the rental car. They did not, right? And that was the biggest hit. And it took so long for them to process it. So I'm like, okay, I got Tesla insurance. It should be pretty seamless. Let's see. Let's put them to work and see what happens. So here's what happened. So I reached out and I made a claim right then and there. And everything's in the app, which is good. All right. Pretty seamless, pretty straightforward. I took pictures at the scene, so I was able to upload those pictures. And I'm like, okay, everything good to go. It was pretty easy. So if you have Tesla insurance, it's pretty easy to do it through the app. So then after that, I'm like, okay, I guess I got to take it into a body shop. So I look up, and this is a Friday evening. So I look up and I find one. I'm like, oh man, the closest place to me is, it's not available until for 2 weeks. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that, right? So the weekend passed, and I'm just thinking like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Monday morning, I call Tesla Insurance. They're like, okay, Mondays are busy. And I knew that already because I have a buddy that's an adjuster, so he tells me the same thing. She said, the person assigned to your case will contact you by the end of the day. I said, okay, cool. Let's get it going. I said, and what about, the body shop? Is there any way I could get in earlier? Because, I want to take care of this ASAP. Because one, it's a lease. Two, I'm paying every month for this, and I don't want it down and out for too long. And she was like, well, you can take it to any body shop. Remember, this is Tesla insurance. You can take it to any body shop. It doesn't have to be a Tesla certified shop. I'm like, oh, really? But I'm like, but I'd rather take it to a Tesla certified shop because it just seemed like it'll be more seamless. She said, but actually, the law actually says you could take it anywhere and we can't make you take it to Tesla. I said, I get that, but I want to keep everything in house. And then she turned around and said, yeah, it is true. It will be easier because we'll have all the information right there and we can easily access all the data. I said, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So stop trying to push me somewhere else. I'm trying to keep it with Tesla. That's why I have Tesla insurance. That's why I have everything Tesla. You know what I'm saying? So let's do it that way. I was able to find an opening a little farther away, and I'm gonna take it in today. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm making this video. My adjuster didn't call me back on Monday. Tuesday passed. I didn't hear from my adjuster. Today is Wednesday. If I don't hear from them by today, I'm calling back on tomorrow. Like, what's going on? I finally did get a message from my adjuster, Tesla Insurance, and she broke down basically what I have to do to get a rental. Basically what I have to do as far as my insurance, my deductible, regardless if it's my fault or not, I still have to pay the deductible. And I don't know if that varies depending on which, coverage you get with Tesla insurance, but I don't know. And I don't know if that's typical because, again, I don't get into I haven't gotten into an accident in a long time. But anyway, deductible is the worst case scenario. And I wanted to see if it would supercharge still, so I brought it to the supercharger. And I was able to get my seatbelt to latch, so I am able to drive it in. I'm gonna drive it slowly. Full self-driving still works, so I'm gonna use full self-driving and really monitor. I'm having it on chill, really monitor, my surroundings and if that front latch is open or anything like that. But my adjuster wanted me to break down in detail what happened, send videos, send pictures, and I'll do that as soon as I get back home. I'm really curious about this rental because I am going 43 miles away, and I can catch an Uber back home and, just pay for that or see what's up with their rentals. They said $45 a day total, so that includes taxes and everything. So if the base is $49, then I'm gonna have to come out the pocket. But also, I know rentals usually come with like extra insurance that you might want to pay to cover things, and I'm not really trying to come out the pocket that much, so I'm gonna get the details when I get there. But so far, I don't know. Of course, anytime you're in an accident, it's an inconvenience. So just playing it by ear, and I'm gonna let you guys know how it goes. It might be in this video, it might be in another video. I pay for insurance. I've been paying for insurance for years and never used it. So hopefully it works out. This is what I'm paying for, right? For it to be taken care of seamlessly. Now, just to look at the damage a little bit, right? It looks like a whole lot of cosmetic. Looks like, right? Obviously, the headlights busted. All this is busted, but you never really know the damage until they fix all this, right? Also, I noticed like this whole panel right here is off. Look. So this all has to be replaced anyway. My wife said the mirror looks a little off, but I don't know if that's related or not, but I'm definitely gonna let them know that. But look, my fancy mud flaps. But that, and when I got into the accident, the hood did pop up, and then I heard cracking over here, and because this is bent, look how that's bent, and when it popped up, all this is damaged, and the windshield is actually cracked. Let's see that. So the windshield is cracked, and this has to be replaced. So I just want my car back. I don't really know the policy on totaling and stuff like that, but I don't want it totaled. I love this. This is one of my favorite vehicles, the 2025 Tesla Model 3. And I have so much content to make. So much to make. Yes, this is content, but I have some really cool, like my biggest video ever, including all three, the Model X, the Cybertruck, and the Model 3. I had a big video coming, and dang, now it's sidelined. And that's just how it goes, man. That's life. I guess the number one most important thing is I'm safe, I'm healthy, I'm not hurt, I don't think. I'm going to see how I continue to feel, But that knee soreness, I don't know if it's related. My back soreness, I don't know if it's related. But they always say you feel it afterwards. But we gonna see. I haven't gone to the doctor or anything yet. But I'm not I'm not really like that. If I feel it, I feel it. If it's not related, it's not related. I'm not trying to come up on no insurance or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, look at that. Now I got panel gap issues. Now I'm keep you posted on what's gonna happen next, because I know a lot of people are thinking about getting Tesla insurance and wondering if it's worth it or not. Remember, I'm in California, so who knows, if it's even available in your area or not. But hopefully this is a smooth operation. All right, so it's kind of sad being here with all these other wrecked Teslas. They go mine right there. So I came to Irvine, and it was, well, not Irvine. I forgot what this area is called. Aliso Viejo. I'm at Aliso Viejo, and man, it was pretty smooth. It was a pretty smooth experience. Came in, wasn't a long wait. They took me in immediately. They got me going with the paperwork. They came out and took a look at it. They said they're gonna try to get it back to me before my rental. And yes, the rental car is covered by the Tesla insurance. So they got me a Model 3. I didn't have to worry about Ubering. Everything is good to go. And so far, it's been pretty smooth. I just got to pay my deductible, they said, when I come and pick it up. But it looks like cosmetic damage, and they talk about painting it and making sure it's all matte. It matches everywhere. And then I'll start pulling it apart to make sure everything is still there. Everything's intact, radiator is intact. So I feel pretty confident so far. I mean, he went into detail on everything he's going to do. So I feel like this was a good shop to come to. But, the jury's still out when we're all said and done. But they made me feel confident. He knows what he's talking about. And yeah, man, I'm pretty satisfied right now. I'm gonna roll this rental home, and I'll keep you guys posted when the car is ready. I'm gonna let you know how it goes. Man, you go from hardly ever seeing blue to now that I got one, I see blue everywhere. Everywhere, white interior too, like mine. Nice. I never had blue before. I always wanted blue. Best part is it has unlimited supercharging for free, but I don't have to pay for gas. I don't have to pay for electricity. So far everything's been good. I've been pretty satisfied with what has happened, the way I've been treated, the way I feel. And so far it's a big win for Tesla insurance. But I will keep you posted as far as, the condition of the vehicle. Can they fix it? How will they fix it? And how much it actually, the damages were, even though I only have to pay my deductible. So, hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, Cobra told you. All right, y'all.